The horrors unfolding in West Asia continue to make headlines. It is nearing a month since the war broke out between Hamas militants and Israel. And the crackdown on the group by Israel is ongoing through air and ground assaults. The country's defense forces have said that the head of Hamas's special security, Jamal Musa, has been killed in an Israeli midnight attack. The Israeli security forces have also arrested 23 people in East Jerusalem. They're accused of incitement to violence and terrorism. Meanwhile, Jordan's King Abdullah II said in a post on X that at midnight, Jordan's Air Force personnel airdropped urgent medical aid to the Jordanian Field Hospital in Gaza. The heads of 11 United Nations agencies and 6 humanitarian organizations have jointly appealed for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza, the protection of civilians, and the swift delivery of food, water, medicine, and fuel to the region. The call for a ceasefire comes at a time when Israel continues pounding Gaza with significant strikes. Now, according to the country's defense forces, its troops have encircled Gaza City, cutting the region in 2 parts, a south and a north Gaza. The Israeli army has also said its forces had struck over 2,500 terror targets since ground troops entered the Palestinian territory late last month. The Israeli army has also said it has opened a humanitarian corridor to allow civilians in northern Gaza to evacuate to the south. Now, according to health officials in Hamas-controlled Gaza, more than 9,800 people have been killed in the region, including 4,800 children. Meanwhile, in Tel Aviv, several rockets were flying directly over the city. The rockets were intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system. And south of Lebanon, 4 civilians, 3 of them children, were killed by an Israeli airstrike on Sunday evening, raising the likelihood of a dangerous new escalation in the conflict on the Lebanese-Israel border.
العملية اليوم اللي صارت هي عملية إجرامية، عملية إرهابية. 3 أطفال أنا شفتهم، أنا حملتهم بإيدي. 3 أطفال احترقوا بالسيارة وما في حدا ينقذهم، وأمهم أنا شلتها وهي عم بتصرخ وتقول أولادي وين هو؟ وين هن الإرهابية؟ أنتوا الإرهابية يا إسرائيلية، وأنتوا الإرهابية يلي عم يدعموكم، وأمريكا هي راس الإرهاب وهي أم الإرهاب.
Amid spiraling tensions over Israel's war with Hamas, America's top diplomat is on a Middle East tour focused on humanitarian aid for the Palestinians. Brigadier General Dr. Mir El-Ran is a senior researcher at the INSS. He is now joining us live from Tel Aviv. Brigadier, thank you very much for making time for us, and welcome to WION World is One. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has just completed his trip to Turkey, and we understand that Turkey is supporting the Palestinian cause. It has severed ties with Israel. It continues to call for a ceasefire, but Israel is adamant that it will not give the ceasefire. What do you make of these developments at this hour?
Well, the fact that Secretary Blinken is in the Middle East is a very important factor in the overall situation in the Middle East presently. It indicates the commitment of the United States to stand by Israel and by Israel's right to defend itself after the atrocities that took place a little bit more than 4 weeks ago. And we have to understand that Israel now is in a responsive defensive fight against the barbarians of Hamas. We're trying to basically dismantle Hamas as a military and a political organization. It will take time, but it happens daily. And the hope, of course, is that after the war is over, we will have a new Gaza without Hamas, but reconstructed, rehabilitated with the help of the Western world, together with important Arab countries. This is the vision as of now, and we are very hopeful that this is going to happen, in fact, sometime soon.
Brigadier, how is the new Gaza going to look like, if at all, at this moment, Israel continues to pound the Gaza Strip? It says that it's targeting the militants' hideouts, but at the same time, the humanitarian situation is in the crisis level. So you speak about a new Gaza. How is the new Gaza going to look like?
Well, it all depends on the pace of this military campaign right now. Hamas is still holding against our pressure. I hope it will not be very long before they understand that they have to surrender. The sooner that happens, the better for the Palestinians. You have to understand that Hamas has been oppressing the Palestinian people since 2006. They have been doing that in a very, very aggressive manner for their own interests, and they're a dictatorial position in the Palestinian, with the Palestinian people. I think that also the Palestinians need them to vanish from the scene, and this is going to happen sometime soon, hopefully very soon from now.
Brigadier, Israel is still adamant with its ground offensive of Gaza, but I want to hear from you. What do you think about the humanitarian situation in Gaza? Because it is deteriorating by the day, by the second, by the hour, by the minute.
Yeah, unfortunately, you are right. The Hamas is preventing the Palestinians in Gaza from taking refugees in the southern part of Gaza. Israel has opened special corridors from the north to the south, promising and actually making it possible for Palestinians to go to the southern part of the Gaza Strip, where they will be safe from the atrocities of the war. And this is very important, but unfortunately, Hamas, who is using human shields to protect them from our advance, they are also at the same time preventing the Palestinians from taking refuge in the southern part. So the faster we and the Palestinians will be able to get rid of Hamas, the humanitarian issue will be over sooner. This is the most important issue right now, also from the humanitarian point of view. You have to understand, okay, that we are trying our best in Israel to differentiate between the terrorists and the Palestinian people over there in Gaza. This is very difficult. It is making it even more difficult because of the strategy of Hamas that has been going on for a long time to use the homes, the schools, the mosques, the hospitals, which are designed for civilian use for their own military and terrorist needs. And this is why we have together in the same compound refugees, Palestinian civilians, and terrorists. This is why Israel is very, very keen on saying to the Palestinian civilians again and again, every day, take refuge in the south. Hundreds of thousands have already done that and saved their lives. There is still enough time for them to do that, because the war, unfortunately, is not going to end tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So they have time to do that, to save their lives, their families, to go down to the south and to enable us to free them from the yoke of the Hamas, which is the enemy of the Palestinian people, as well as it is the enemy of Israel and Western civilization in general.
All right, we are out of time. I've been talking to Brigadier General Dr. Mir Elran, who is a senior researcher at the INSS. Brigadier, thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you for having me. Goodbye.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.